accompaniment or like a soprano above the orchestra.
Yeah.
It's sort of floating up there on the top. Whereas at the moment yours is, yes, it is floating there on the top, but the orchestra or the accompanist is kind of drowning it out. Okay, so we need to, that is like one of the main things. And I do think that you have the right approach to this like melisma, this long ornamentation. You have the right approach to breaking it down, whereabouts you should place everything in the right hand, the left hand. But eventually it needs to be kind of freed up and seem like it's without time.
Yeah.
It needs to be in time but seem like it's without time, okay?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So let's try from the beginning, and I want you to really concentrate on singing the right hand out. So it's about like, you know, the sound is good. You want that kind of deep quality to every note so that it sings above the left hand. And then the left hand has to keep it down a little bit more as well. Okay? Let's try. It's actually carrying. So if I was sitting out there in the middle of, you know, if I was sitting in the middle of the audience, I would be able to hear this a lot better, and it would speak a little bit better to me. But the quality that you had in the sound at the beginning was something that you want to bring back. So now you have a slightly more direct touch on the key, and you want to kind of have somewhere in the middle between the two. Okay, so you want it to be soft and sort of velvety, but you also want it to actually speak and communicate above. But the balance-wise, it's good now. So I don't know how much I want to like tip the scale in either direction. I think you're ready to kind of try to work out how to do this right hand, the complex rhythms in the right hand against the left hand.
Yeah.
I think you're ready to kind of try to make it a little bit more natural, so that you're not going da 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 da.
That sounds sweet.
I'm not saying that it has to be da 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 da. I'm not saying that it needs to be broken down exactly into 22 notes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it needs to flow in such a way that we don't hear the groupings, okay?
Yeah.
Can we try just on this one? That's a lot better, just that you're actually trying to move forward with the right hand all the time. Let's try again. So what you don't want in the middle of it is to feel like, okay, that was the half bar, that was the half measure point.
Yeah.
And then now we have the new measure. You want to like, it's sort of like time standing still. That's what the feeling needs to be here. So we don't want to hear that grouping either. This is a lot better in terms of the grouping between the right hand and the left hand. But you still need to work out, you know, every time you go down to that bass note, boom, 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 boom. You don't want to really make it really land, so you cut that measure into half.
Yeah.
You know, you're not trying to show the beat to anyone. This is just supposed to be free of time almost. Okay, let's try. On the upbeat. Because it has to last the whole way to the end of the measure. And you have lots of notes in the left hand, and then you even have a counter melody at the end of that. But that A flat has to be you need to be able to hear it the whole way till there. Just don't switch off when you're listening to that. Can we go from but it's still the same idea. It's still, that is just an accompaniment. It's like, there's your atmosphere, and then the right hand is like this singing, really expressive, like these slurs that go yum bum bum bum. Like it's really everything about romanticism. It's like the heart spilling out everywhere. It's really Chopin with his heart on his sleeve. Even though it's only Opus 9, it's really incredibly expressive, and that means that it sort of speaks a little bit more than this sort of general tranquil atmosphere. Like we have the tranquil atmosphere in some of the layers of the sound, and then the other part needs to like sing really clearly, like crystal clear. So we're going to go back to here, and I want you to be careful of the texture here. Just make sure you feel like you're singing this. Maybe it's a useful exercise for you to at home just actually sing everything out, because it will draw your attention to how long these lines are. So those long notes that you tend to let go of with your ear, whenever you arrive on them and you're singing them, you know it has to last all the way until the next note. Whereas at the piano, you might just stop and you play it and you have it in the pedal, and then we just leave it until you get to the next note. So there's a different mentality there that's worth exploring. Back to here. Okay, these B flats become a little bit more expressive in each one. So it's bum, 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 and then the A flat is the longest one. So it's like a gradual process, like yum, bum, bum, bum. And then that last one is really expressive. Can we try? So it's like a melting away of the whole phrase. It's not even just a little diminuendo or tailing off at the end of the phrase. It's and then it sets you up again it sort of sets up your slow breath into the next section. Okay?
Yeah.
Can we try? I want to hear from here. This awkward harmony chord. Okay, once more. Last note, last note. So that whole F that you have, it's like kind of yum, slow breath. Speak in the right hand, speak. Okay, the direction of the music changes whenever you have a crescendo. So whereas you might think that whenever you have a diminuendo marked in at the end of a phrase that it's really calming down and it's becoming more relaxed, and whenever the rhythmic movement is speeding up here, like you have running notes and you have a crescendo, it just means it's like it's pushing with its intensity forwards, okay? But it's not rushing as a result of it. Everything is written in. And these three notes that go upwards into the next measure, we need ya da da dum, bum 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 bum. There's a lot is packed into this first page, and it's not all just nice nocturnal music. Oh, isn't it very peaceful tonight? And it's not just that. It's there's something very like painstaking melodies here, and the depth of the expression whenever you have a crescendo, and it's like the same note again and again, and it kind of increases each time in intensity as well. And then in these long flourishes, sometimes these long flourishes they come out as beautiful kind of crystalline kind of figures, and then other times they come out as these like mini explosions, like yeah da 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 dum bum 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 bum, and then sometimes it's yeah da 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 da, sort of more wandering. So if you get these two things defined in terms of the direction, that's exactly what you need to kind of characterize the whole thing. Yeah. So then we're not really just talking about making everything nice and in balance and everything in place in terms of layering, although that's a big part of what you have to work on. We're also discussing like when you surge forward, and surge is really the word. When you surge upwards in a phrase, it gives it that kind of gasp, like, you know, like the wow kind of feeling, the one that really speaks. So you're speaking in terms of something that's very tranquil and very, very deep and very clear and very soaring, and then you're also speaking in a kind of where necessary, in a kind of powerful way, okay? Like, so some parts, even in this first page, are kind of like powerful at the top. Anytime you have the appassionato phrases, they kind of peak at the very, very top of the piano, and that's a very unusual place to be in Opus 9 around the time that Chopin wrote this. It's a very unusual place to leap to, like all the way down from here, the middle of the piano, all the way up to the very top register. Yeah. And that's a very unique thing, like an expressive device. You know, when you have like a smaller leap, like say of a sixth, it's already quite expressive, but then if you add a few octaves onto that, then it's going to be like, it's like almost, you have to reach out and grab that top note. Yeah. Can we try, I want to hear from here again. And each one of these, make it a little bit more deep, so you have, that's all arriving at this one.